with the announcement of the raids from months ago, much less what happened in El Paso, to the most recent raids where hundreds of people were picked up. Many were released because they probably shouldn't have been picked up in the first place. People are afraid in our country.
Do you think Hispanics feel targeted right now?
I do.
That between El Paso and this ICE raid that took place in Mississippi.
And this president's rhetoric, which has been...
Can he say anything at this point to reassure Hispanic Americans?
I don't think it would be authentic if he did. And I think people are smart enough to know that. You know, there's an old saying, judge me by my actions, not my words. And his actions have been to divide, to vilify, to do what is contrary to who we are as Americans, which is to say it's us versus them, as opposed to a president who uses the power of that microphone in a way that is about unifying and lifting up as opposed to beating down. That's what this president does. He beats people down. And I will tell you that's the sign of a coward.
How do you strike that balance of hitting him but still trying to win over some of his supporters? You know, ultimately, I know in a general election, you do want to win over some of his supporters. Why do you think they picked him the first time?
I want to earn every American's
Why do you think
vote.
they picked him the first time? You used a phrase before the 2016 campaign, but it was in October. You're saying, you know, we're going to look at ourselves in the mirror.
Yes,
well,
that's right.
We
and
did.
Ask a question.
And what happened?
I said then and I say today.
But what question did we answer in
This
16?
is an inflection moment in the history of our country. This is a moment in time where each of us must look in a mirror, and collectively we must look in a mirror and ask this question: who are we? And I think part of the answer to that question is we are better than this.
But what did we say in 16 when we did this?
But here's the thing. There were people who voted for him for a variety of reasons. And a lot of it had to do with the promises he made, which he has not delivered on because they were false promises. And he betrayed a lot of people. He came in saying he was going to help working families, everyone from farmers to auto workers.
You brought up the raids in Mississippi. Believe it or not, law enforcement told our news division, told us that they had to be intentionally vague about the companies that were, quote, raided. Explain to me, you were a prosecutor.
Yeah.
Why were the workers targeted and not the companies? Why do the 5 companies get to stay? Why do they have a privacy protection here? Is there something in the law that I'm missing?
No, and I don't know why they did what they did. I don't know why they decided to do it right after El Paso when a whole community of people
committed the wrong here?
felt...
The companies, correct? If they hired people that weren't citizens, they're the ones in the wrong, not the people.
Yes, right. I mean, yes, of course. Of course, the employers have to be responsible, and they have to do whatever is required by law. But there's another point here, Chuck, which is that this administration has directed DHS to conduct these raids as part of what I believe is this administration's campaign of terror, which is to make whole populations of people afraid to go to work. Children are afraid to go to school for fear that when they come home, their parents won't be there.
You have spoken about race as a national security issue.
Yeah.
You've spent time in the Intel Committee. You've been involved in the Russia investigation, and you've said that Russia targeting us on race proves that our racial strife is a national security issue. How do you get the public to see it that way?
Okay, so Russia interfered in the election of the President of the United States. Regardless of what Donald Trump says, listen to the intelligence community. They tell you that is true because it is true. Okay, so that's a fact.
Should we label Russia a state sponsor of terrorism?
I think that is a debatable point, but I will say, is there an adversary?
The UK,
there's no
the United States?
No